Hello again, everyone. It is the conservative Pelican here. Um, and in this video, I'm launching a spin-off series. In a previous video, I did about a 30-minute discussion of going back to college at the age of 31. And now I've decided to take that a little bit further and actually do a commentary on each class that I take. Now, these commentaries will always be at the end after I've taken the class, and it'll give you some insight into what online college is, as well as how the instructor is, what kind of work is involved, and just that sort of thing. So that if you're kind of in the same boat that I was, you want to go back to college, but you don't know what classes you should take, or really what are some strategies about, how much time do you need in a week to devote to online college? Well, these are going to be some good videos that I think will help you out a lot. So, the first class I'm going to talk to you about is Introduction to Human Ecology. This class is actually at American Public University, which is the school that I'm currently taking online classes at. This class is actually now at this time retired. I was in the very last class of this particular science class, Intro to Human Ecology. So it's been retired now. It had an 8-year run. I'll tell you that I got a C in the class. I could have had an A, but it was a very, very work-intensive class. I mean, most 4-credit science classes are, but yeah, this one was definitely work-intensive. So starting out in the class, the first week, you had to read, or I should say the first week you had a lab due, okay? And not only that, but you had to read a chapter. Most chapters were about 30 to 50 pages worth. So yeah, that would take you about an hour, probably about an hour or so. Because if you should be the type of person in this particular human ecology class to where you read the chapter, you should be taking notes too, because guess what? You're going to have a quiz at the end of the week. Now, these quizzes you do them online, and you can do them in the privacy of your own home. So technically it is open book, open notes, but they are timed at 2 hours, which I think was very reasonable. The quizzes were fairly easy as long as you read the chapters. They're generally about, I'd say about 15, anywhere from 15 to 25 multiple choice short answer questions, and then there was an essay question. And usually it was structured so that if you didn't do the essay, you took 10 points off, and you'd finish with a 90 on the quiz if you got all the multiple choice questions right and you did not do the essay question. The quizzes, I got anywhere from like 87 to a 99, so I did very well in the quizzes. I felt that they were good. They were good, easy. They helped reinforce what you learned reading the chapters and that sort of thing. The instructor, however, she was kind of lazy, I think, and this may have been because the course was on its way out when I took it. But for her lecture, she just had a little 3-4 sentence paragraph. This chapter is about so and so and so and so and so and so. She actually did not do an actual PowerPoint lecture or any kind of study guide whatsoever. She just said, read the textbook, and if you have any questions, well, you can message me at .com, sort of thing. Let's see. Another aspect of this class was the labs. You had in this course about 5 labs. Yeah, it was an 8-week course. Okay, you had 5 labs, 5 quizzes. They were not all do it once, but usually if you had a lab, some weeks you had a lab and a quiz, other weeks you just had a lab, and then you had a final project due. It's a lot of work. The labs, the first lab I did not do. It was assigned the first week, and it was due at the end of that first week. It was on, like, it was like a food web or one of these kind of things where you had to, draw stuff. I'm like, this is, seriously, ladies, is this an art class? No, it's a science class. Come on. I didn't even try the class. I didn't even attempt the lab, to be honest with you. But it was like, 4 points of, in a 100-point class, it was like 4 points off or something, which, not the difference between pass or fail, I should say. The second lab was very easy. It only took about 2 hours, which was one of the shorter labs, I should say. It was based on population growth of different countries in the world, and you were just looking at data and answering, what does the data say about Germany and China, and what's the growth, what's the fertility rate in Vietnam, and all this thing where all you have to do is look at the data and the answer is right in the data. Now, if you're not a graphs or charts person, you may have had some difficulty with this lab, but it, in my opinion, was the easiest lab. Lab 3 was definitely the hardest lab. It probably took me, I'd say, close to about a whole day, like 7 or 8 hours, because first you had to get, it's based on the birth date and death date and cemetery data. Now, you had one or two options. You could actually go out to a cemetery and collect the data, but that would probably take you longer than you could actually go to a website on the computer and get the data, which is perfectly legal. The teacher said you could do either or. I was like, okay, well, just going on the internet, getting the data would take less time, so let's go ahead and do that. And then you have to go through, sort the data, create your own graph with Excel, and it was it took about 7 or 8 hours to do. But all these labs, the good thing is if you completed each step, these labs were graded more on completion than they were accuracy. Which was a good thing. Lab 4 was a population pyramid. Again, you were looking at data, constructed stuff. I did not do that one. I was having a rough week with work and getting sick and just everything was. And then you had lab number 5, which was we talked about diet and nutrition in a human ecology class. Kind of odd, but basically you just had to write down what you ate for 3 days, give the calorie information, and it's like, okay, what percentage is plant, what percentage is animal. That lab was very easy. It probably took a little bit longer than the population growth lab number 2, but still, I mean, it's probably no more than 3 hours. Okay, it was a lot better than that 8-hour cemetery lab. So that was the labs. The final project I started to attempt, but man, for something that it's only 10% of your grade. So if you want to skip it, and you could probably still get a B in the class, you can. It was 10% of your grading, like 15 slides on a certain topic that you covered in human ecology. I was going to do mine on population growth in the Orlando area, and I was going to talk about a lot of suburban sprawl, overdevelopment, but man, I just, it would have taken so much time to do the project, and for it only being 10% of the grade is like, it's just not worth it. And I'm just this was also the same week that lab number 4 was due. I was like, I just don't want to do this. So that's why I finished with a C, because I skipped 2 labs in the final project, and some of the forums. Okay, another thing about this class was the forums. Every class you take at American Public University and pretty much any online college, you're going to have to participate in a discussion forum. Some professors are more strict than others about what they actually want in a forum post. This professor, Miss Drexler, was you have to have your first post in the forum due by Wednesday night at like 11:55 p.m. And she was, and if you didn't have it in by then, guess what? 5 points off for each day you did not, for each day it was late. So yeah, I had a couple forum posts where it was Friday or Saturday before I get to them, because guess what? My work schedule was heavily front loaded, where even though I work in retail, I had to work, I'd get a day off till like Thursday or Friday. And the work week starts Saturday, goes to Friday. I'd get day off till Thursday, which is something I have to watch for future classes, make sure that I, get some more, some days off earlier in the week. Because especially for Miss Drexler, I mean, if your mantra as a university is supposed to be for working class people, working adults, people in the military, people that have a thousand other things to do just besides being a college student, they should really relax that requirement. Maybe say, okay, man, could you have it in by Friday night at 11:55 or something like that? Because the thing is that the forum post, the reason why they were due, they had a 3-day window, is because what they want you to do is respond to your classmates' forum. Yeah, so in other words, they want everybody done by Wednesday night, so you can go back, respond, and have those 4 days in the week to respond, which really in reality should be, okay. You get it done by Friday night, you have Saturday and Sunday to respond, or actually you can axe the discussion forums completely, because I kind of think they're a waste of time, as far as learning stuff. I mean, it's good to connect with your classmates and have that sense of community, I guess, but I don't know. I sort of think they're a little bit of a waste of time. But they are an important part of your grade. A lot of these classes, they're 40% of your grade doing the forums. I mean, wow. And this particular professor, Drexler, she wanted you not only to answer the questions, okay, and some of the questions were you could answer in your own words and be creative, but she also wanted you to go and research the topic and actually bring back some sort of article, that sort of thing to reinforce the forum topic. So Miss Drexler was very strict about forum posts. Excuse me. The quizzes were easy as long as you read the chapter. The labs were easy, as long as you did all the work. So the subject matter of this class was way too broad, because I felt like one day I was in like 3rd grade social studies. The next day I was in 7th grade world geography. Oh yeah, and then we're in 9th grade health class talking about nutrition. It was all over the place. It was just way too broad of topics. Going into this human ecology class, I was hoping that we would talk more about suburban sprawl, overpopulation in the cities, the growth of the suburbs, and it would be more of just an American, based on what's happening here in America, not so much the global perspective and that sort of thing. So maybe the future AP will change it to where it's human ecology in America, and then you have international human ecology. But honestly, if I had to take a science class over again, I would probably take human anatomy and physiology. Something, because nothing's more relevant than your health and also knowing all about your human body. Okay, there's nothing more relevant than that. But again, going into the human ecology class, I was hoping we'd talk more about suburban sprawl and overpopulation, and not things like, health, nutrition, the Industrial Revolution. It was just all over the place. Ugh. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, when I look at the instructor was okay. She wasn't very good, but she wasn't awful either. I look at the class was more difficult because of the amount of work, and not so much the work, what the work itself. Doing the work was the hardest part of the course, and not so much, being accurate on the work, kind of, I guess, what I could say. All things considered, I'd have to say this class on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give about a 6.5. So that was Intro to Human Ecology.